listen, we went to the doctor today. You guys know we kind of just let you a little glimpse into our lives, and we share tips with you. You share tips with us. And today we're coming with a serious service announcement. Get to the doctor, okay? Get to the doctor, and we're going to tell you what happened with us at the doctor today. We're going to go over some different tests and stuff that, especially as you start getting in your 40s and 50s and really in your 20s, we're both very regular in going to the doctor. And when you have insurance, you really need to go and take advantage of it. Even if you don't have insurance, find a good urgent care center or somewhere that they can see you for a lesser price as a cash patient. I'll talk a little bit about that as we go along. My allergies are on 100, so forgive me if I keep rubbing my eyes, okay? So let's talk about what happened with us today. You want to get started?
It started early this morning at 6 o'clock. We
Come
got up this
closer so you
morning
can speak up.
and we went to our, well, how do I put it? We had to change providers because we're self-employed. We have an insurance broker that found us different providers like Aetna, Cigna 1 year, and last year, or this year rather, there was a change where either one of us, Cigna or Aetna, I can't think which one it was.
Let's go back just a little bit further. Mm-hmm. We're in the marketplace
in Georgia.
Obamacare, basically. When you're self-employed or don't have insurance, Obamacare was the option. So we had great insurance. We had Cigna at one time, as Jeffrey was saying. We had Aetna a couple years, and then now we had to switch to Kaiser. Now he can finish telling you.
So with Kaiser, it's different. Everything is in-house. So that's a little bit different, where with Aetna or Cigna, then you can kind of choose where you want to go.
When he says everything is in-house, just for clarity, for those of you who do not know how Kaiser works, because Kaiser is not in every state. So if you need to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor, they have their own doctors. If you need to go to urgent care, Kaiser has their own urgent care. If you need just about anything, they have it in-house, their own ear doctor. So you can't just say, I think I'll go over here to this ear doctor. I think I'll just go over there. No, you go where they tell you to go.
Mm-hmm. So because of that, that was different. We had a doctor that we had been using that we were pretty comfortable with going to. And I'm just checking to make sure that we're actually, oh, fine. Okay, there it goes.
Hey, guys.
Right. Okay, I was just checking because it wasn't showing any change. So okay, anyway, so what was I saying?
That we had to change doctors.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're just talking about medical procedures and tests that you need to start having when you get over 40 or 50. We both went to the doctor today, and based on our experience, we was like, we had to go live and share some tips with you guys, because a lot of you are not going to the doctors as you need to. So we wanted to share some tips with you, and again, what happened with us. So we had to change doctors.
So because of that, we don't know. That was kind of, we had been with the same doctor for the last 4 years or so. Mm-hmm. And he really, although it takes forever in the doctor's office, he really took time to listen to us and to our concerns and what have you. I mean, one time he was in there half an hour with us. I thought the nurse was coming there and was pretty much trying to pull him out the room. But in any case, we had to change to another provider, which is Kaiser. So that was, I didn't really particularly care for that, because we're gonna have to switch to another doctor. You don't know how they're gonna do, how they're gonna, are they gonna be in and out? Because I've been years before at another facility, doctor's office, where the doctor was in there maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes. He's in and out, and that was it. So anywho, so that
caused
was
you some anxiety.
Yeah.
Hey, game changer, what's up?
Yeah.
Did that cause you some anxiety having to change? Thanks for the thumbs up, y'all.
Yeah, it was anxiety when we knew we were going to have to change last year, because I'm like, okay, well, how's this going to be the next when we have to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
So we went today because we went in December of last year under the old provider, our old doctor. We did our annual thing, blood work and everything, but you got to get that. They transferred over the doctor's orders as far as our medication over to Kaiser. But
we had to request that. Yeah. They don't do it automatically. When you change insurance, you got to let them know what you're taking. Okay. And they request it.
Okay.
Hey, Norma, here live, girly. What's up?
So with that, you can only go so long before you have to go back to the doctor, and so you got to kind of face the music. Meaning now we have to, me and Kim and I have to do this process of trying to find out what type of doctor it would be, and so on and so forth. So with Kaiser, we were assigned a doctor closer, but because we're going to be out of town in the next month or so,
Maria Grace,
Kim's going to need her medication.
Yeah.
And so now we got to go sooner. So we had to go about an hour away to an area that we are familiar with in Athens. We're familiar with that.
The provider they wanted us to go to, she couldn't take us until like July almost. And I'm like, I need my medication coming up like
soon.
Yeah, probably a couple more weeks. I couldn't wait till July. So we had to change. We called Kaiser and they got us into another location. And we get there, after they see me, they didn't say nothing. They saw Jeffrey and they were like, well, technically you need to go to the one that you have on file as your primary care physician. Well, I ain't like her telling me that. I'm like, I can go wherever I want to go. I got insurance. But my sister worked at Kaiser and she said that is true. They do want you to go where your PCP is on file. So if you find you don't like your primary care, PCP is primary care provider for those of you who don't know. If you find you don't like your primary care doctor, you can always change them. You are never stuck. Okay, that's another tip I want to leave y'all. So let's get into what happened today. So Jeffrey and I before we even go in there, I'm like, we had one more story quickly because it all is relative. We had another doctor that we went to, just trying to get closer to home. It was somebody we had saw years ago. We actually had like their office. They cater to older people. And it turned out so nice, game changer. I'll take you out there and show you right quick. Hey people. Hey Blue True, live and in person. Yeah, exactly, Norma. You can change at any time. So short story on the other doctor that we had, and when we got in there and they were doing our annual visit, I said, well, they didn't tell us to fast. I was like, and you'll see why that's relevant later. And I was like, usually they tell you no eating or drinking after 10 or 12 or whatever after midnight. You need to be NPO. That means no food or anything by mouth, so they can test you and they can check your blood sugar. They can check all this different stuff. So we get in the doctor's office and they go, oh no, we don't check your blood sugar. I was like, what? I said, are you going to do an EKG? Oh no, we don't do an EKG. Now, don't forget the doctor Jeffrey told you we had for 5 years. They did everything. They did A1C, EKG. I mean, literally everything, right? So now this doctor's telling us they ain't checking nothing but the blood pressure, have a conversation. I said, stop the visit. You got to advocate for yourself, guys. One thing I have learned since I've been dealing with my family being ill the last few years and just working in a hospital setting. I worked in the hospital for 8 years, for those of you who do not know, at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And I was an advocate for parents. You have to advocate for yourself. People don't care about you. You have to advocate for yourself. When I say advocate, they tell you something you don't like, you got to check them. Okay, you try to do it nicely because you want good care. But it may come a time when you have to snap off and put on that other side of the track. You know what I'm talking about, okay?
Sorry, folks, I'm having a hot flash.
Yeah, it is a little warm in here.
Yeah, but I flash like Kim do. What are you talking
about like I do? I don't flash that much.
Okay.
Hold on, I didn't finish yet. Okay. So I got to tell you. So I said, stop the visit. We are not going to use this person, right? I told her, I said, okay, that's good. So Jeffrey, they hadn't saw him yet, so they had him in another room. The other doctor we went to for 5 years, we actually did our appointments together. So Jeffrey would be in the room when I did my pap smear, my breast exam, and everything. He just let us come in the room together. But most doctors don't do that. Even today, they was like, you going in this room and she going in that room. So anyway, because they wasn't doing nothing, I said, stop with Jeffrey. Because once they use your visit, they code that insurance. You can't say, well, I'm going to go again and have somebody else check it, right? You got to cancel that visit. Stop it. So that's what I did. I went in Jeffrey's room and I told him, I said, hey, she's not checking nothing today. He didn't talk me up on a hot flash. I said, she ain't checking nothing today. We're not staying here and they are not using this visit as your annual. Stop it. So we did nothing else. So we walked out. I go up to the desk and they're going to try to charge me because I said I'm not going to use it as an annual. They want to charge me for talking to the doctor. I said, I'm not paying anything because she didn't do anything. So the doctor heard me talking and she came up there and she told the registration person, let it go, let it go. So they did. So my point being, though, if you're not getting the service that you need to leave. Your health is important. You only get one body. Now, for today's visit, Jeffrey and I are in the car en route, and I tell him, I say, hey, we need to make sure they do your EKG. We need to make sure they check our blood sugar because they didn't tell us anything, right? They didn't tell us to fast either. I want them to do a cholesterol check. These are things that you have to get done. I'm going to go over a whole list with you. And when we get in there and I asked the lady, what do? They didn't even do a urine analysis. I said, are you going to check our urine? She was like, no, normally we don't. What? Are you doing EKG? No, I asked all this before they started anything. So she was like, no, we're not doing all that. So I was like, oh, okay. So as the conversation goes on, because I am on a hydrochlorothiazide, I take that as a water pill to help me with my blood pressure. She said, well, normally if you're on a blood pressure pill, though, they will go ahead and check your urine because they're trying to check your kidney function. She said most things now that they can do via blood work. So when I Googled it, because y'all know I'm going to Google, that's my other doctor. Google said, yes, a lot of times now they don't do urine analysis like they used to. They can find most stuff through the blood. But I want a urine sample taken. Okay. Norma says, hey, Blue True, happy Wednesday to you. Norma says, I take that for blood pressure too. Yeah, hydrochlorothiazide. I take that. I've been taking it for years. I really want to get off of it. You guys know I had lost 27 pounds, so I was almost getting ready to get off of it. Then I gained my weight back. So it's worked for me. At one time, they tried to put me on amlodipine, I think it was, something to slow my heart rate like 15, 20 years ago. And I was like, I'm not taking that. So I'm not telling you what to do, what not to do. I'm just telling you my experience. And I'm not big on taking a whole lot of medication, so I want to talk about that too. So let's let Jeffrey go. All right. So you can talk about what did they end up testing for you and how you had to fight for it.
So they wanted to, after
after I told him what to say, because I was in the other room.
Yeah, because we were separated again, and I asked about the EKG, and because of my history with I have a right brachial block or something on the heart where it gives off a signal like a half a second, millisecond less than what it's supposed to, and that really doesn't. The doctor says it's always going to be there, and it's not a problem. Now initially we thought it was like AFib or something. That was from a couple of years ago.
Well, doctor told him
he said something along the lines of AFib, and so for the last 2 years or so, I'm thinking around
almost three
every commercial dealing with AFib. I'm thinking, well, I got that. I could drop or I could start twitching at any given moment. So turns out
AFib is like an irregular heartbeat.
Yeah. So we're trying to give you a history to how we got to this point.
Why we started doing EKGs. The first doctor we went to, he always just did an EKG period. But the last time we went to him, like 3 years ago, when he first started this whole thing with Jeffrey and the heart thing, he found something. We went to see the cardiologist. Cardiologist goes, you got AFib. So Jeff thinking he got that for 3 years. And then we go to the ER last October. Come to find out, the doctor was like, you don't have AFib. In the ER, they ran all kind of tests on Jeffrey. That bill ended up being $2,500 because we have a high deductible plan, y'all. It's a beast, but it's better than nothing. Okay, now I'm on a payment plan really quick on that because we ain't had $2,500 to pay the whole thing. So we did 2 payment plans. It was you had to pay the regular doctor and you had to pay the ER doctor. That's a whole nother story.
So the reason that we went to go back for chronological, how did we get to this point? The reason why we went, okay, we had the history with the situation with the loss of our parents. My dad, Kim's mom and dad, and her sister. So around, was it 2020? When the pandemic started and we started doing our business, that's what, was it 2020? Yeah, no, but 22. I'm sorry, 22. That's when we went to urgent care. We were going to try to go to the doctor or something, the regular doctor, and they couldn't see us in a certain amount of time. And my blood pressure was like crazy. So I went to the urgent care, and that's where we've been going to because they do everything. So we started going to this specific urgent care center with the same doctor, and that's how 5 years ago, we started going to him, in opposed to a quote unquote doctor's office.
And he wasn't even a doctor, y'all. He was a PA, a physician's assistant, almost a doctor. So that's not a doctor. He went to school maybe, let's say he went to school 8 years, a doctor go to school 12 years.
So,
but he was really good and we loved him. He was very thorough. He did whatever we wanted regarding writing tests and prescriptions and stuff for us. So we loved him. But anyway, we need to get to today. So today's visit, I'm in the car telling Jeffrey what we need to ask for. I just told y'all that. And then while I'm in there, they take me back first. And I start asking her all these questions. So she's telling me I'm texting Jeff so he can be prepared. What's going to happen when he get in there. So for me, they did end up doing my urine sample because I take hydrochlorothiazide for my blood pressure. They did put my blood work so they could check my A1C. Your A1C is your blood sugar for the 3 to 4 months. Okay. There's what's called a fasting blood sugar. You need to know all of this, guys, because some of you are walking around, you got high blood pressure, you got high blood sugar, you don't know it. So that's why we're doing this deep dive, because I'm telling you, my friends, people too, they just fall out and you're like, what happened? Nobody's been to the doctor, and when you do go, you don't know what to ask. So that's what we're trying to prepare you, what to ask when you go. So she did do my urine. She did do the A1C. That's where they check your blood sugar for the last 3 or 4 months. I'll come back and share that with y'all when I get the results. And then she did check my cholesterol. They did do all of that. They are going to check my kidney function. As far as me as a woman, you also need to get your breast exam, okay? You should be doing it yourself, and I'm going to admit I'm not the best when it comes to doing breast exams. But I do like somebody to touch my breast every year in the medical field. Somebody, the doctor, nurse, somebody, because they can feel stuff that I can't feel, right? Nobody know your body like you, but I do like a medical professional. So today, they didn't. I had a male doctor today. So today they said, well, we're not going to let him do none of the female stuff, because I went in prepared for them to do a PAPS. That's where they check your vaginal area. Okay, for those of you who do not know. Now, I'm in my 50s. So when it comes to your pap smear, your mammogram, and all of that, I asked them, well, how often is it recommended you get the mammogram? Now they're saying 2 years. But you can request it annually based on your history, based on your family history. So just because he's telling you, oh, you don't have to get that done for 2 or 3 years. No. What's your family history? Did your mom, your aunts, your sisters, everybody had cancer, and now you worried about it for yourself? Don't let them again tell you what to do. You tell them what you need and what you want. Okay? You have to fight for yourself. So because I had a male doctor, and I didn't mind him doing my breast exam, I didn't mind him doing my vaginal exam, but the nurse that I had today, she was like, well, we'll just let a female do that. And we'll give you a referral for gynecology, and we'll give you a referral for the mammogram. Okay, fine. So that's what happened. So I don't mind. Like I said, typically if they have a male doctor doing any of your female stuff, they have a nurse come in the room with you. For those of you who have not been to the doctor in a long time, I know a lot of y'all scared to go. So they'll have a female nurse come in the room with you. Okay, you and the doctor. So it should never be you and him in the room alone. He's touching all over you. Just a FYI, okay? That's old school. It should never be like that. Ever, ever, ever. So that's what happened with me. Now let's go over to what happened with Jeffrey and what they checked for him. And I'm going to come in with some little tidbits, because they actually put me out the room when he was having his visit. I'll come back to that. I didn't like that either, but I left. Okay. Now what did they test for you?
They checked the EKG because of the questions or the issues or concerns rather with the AFib or the right ventricle block or whatever you call it, the right bradal block or something.
And he had to fight for that because they wasn't going to do it. He had to fight for the EKG. Remember, I already had talked to them, so I prepared Jeffrey. They're saying they're not going to do it. So he had to fight for the EKG. Yeah. Well, I actually had laid the groundwork. I told the doctor during my visit, I know he was like, is this your visit or your husband's visit? Fight for your men too, women. Fight for your men. Make them go to the doctor. Make them go. Okay? But I had to fight for him. So I already laid the groundwork for the doctor. He had boom, boom, boom. I'm more worried about Jeffrey than I was for myself. That's another story. Crazy. That might, I know y'all thinking, girl, you crazy. You better think about yourself first. But that's how we are as women. I'm more concerned about him than he is. So anyway, I laid the groundwork. They said they're gonna do your EKG.
Yeah, they did the EKG.
Yes.
And they're going to do the PSA.
What is PSA?
I forgot what it stands for, but that's for your
Prostate.
prostate. The number, they check and they get that through your blood as well.
Prostate, men. So women don't have a prostate, so you don't have to go in there and say, "Hey, doctor, check my prostate." That's a men thing. You heard of prostate cancer?
Now
Back in the day, they used to use a finger and dig around up in there.
Which I was getting. Well,
okay, now you go ahead and talk about it.
She can talk about that.
No, I know you explained it to me, so you tell them because they haven't did that in years, right?
Yeah, so they haven't done that in years. I was the time that happened. That's been
10
about 10 years ago,
mm-hmm.
which that's fine with me because they were like, okay, drop them and you got to turn around, and the next thing you know, it was horrible.
But I like everything done the old-fashioned way. Like I said, now they're trying to get away from doing so much touching, and everything is just by your blood work.
Yeah.
But ain't nothing like them sticking their fingers up his butt or whatever.
All right.
And feeling and actual feeling. The numbers are good too with the PSA checking the blood work. And that's a standard thing they do for the men. So that was all good. They checked your blood pressure. They did your urine.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do his either, but I had already laid the groundwork. No, we're accustomed to getting our urine checked.
So we had we had to all of those things we had to advocate for.
Yep.
In opposed to what we were used to at our previous doctor's office. So here are some of the things that we're going to get into. Obviously, as you're getting older, you got to make sure you keep up with your blood pressure and how that's what the numbers are. Get you a good blood pressure reader for home, and so that you can mirror it what you have at home versus when you go into the doctor's office.
And it may not be exact, and that's okay, but it shouldn't be so far off. So I don't mind sharing my number because I'm really proud of it. I walk every day. I try to do the best I can. My blood pressure today was 118/70. So it's really not been high in probably 15 years. I still take the water pill, though, because I retain water. If I have too many potato chips, I get a headache. If I have too much salt in my food, I'll get a headache. So that's what I was going to say. Blood pressure is a silent killer, guys. Typically, there are no signs. You don't know it's risen. You just keep on going and going and going. And one day, I was at work. This was when I was at the hospital. It's been over maybe 15 years now. And I'm sitting at the desk, and my blood pressure was high. But I didn't know it was high. I thought I was having a stroke. And this is when I wasn't taking anything. And I'm just eating and doing whatever I want to do. And my lip got to quivering like, blah, 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 like that. And I was like, oh, my God, what's going on? So I had the nurse check my blood pressure. And she was like, your blood pressure is 200/111 or something like that. You need to go to ER ASAP. So I logged off work and went to the ER. And they gave me a bunch of water. It came down. They asked me, was I taking my medication? I was like, no. So that being the case, check your blood pressure, guys. It's a silent killer for a reason. You don't know something's wrong. And the next thing you know, well, how did this 35-year-old or 45-year-old have a stroke? You have to stay on top of your numbers. And blood pressure is a key indicator. The next one is your weight number. Okay, we got a list. The next one is your actual weight. Yes, we are not going to be slaves to the scale, but you got to know where you started and where you end. You can't just say, oh, well, my clothes fit better, and then I'm good. Because that may not be a true indicator. If you got something with elastic in it, you keep going up and up and up, and the numbers don't lie. So that's why I'm not a slave to the scale, kind of, sort of. But I know for a fact you have to, and it go together. If the scale ain't moving and you still coming out, something wrong. You're coming busting out your clothes, right? Anything you want to add about weight?
Yeah, so regarding weight, for myself, I think we've talked about this before a couple years ago now. I lost about 40 pounds. Now I think I've gained probably about 7 of that to be. I think I mentioned a few weeks ago. So now I'm working now back to get back to where I was, and then go further, because everything is connected with your weight, and that all goes together. Mm-hmm. So less weight, then that everything will follow. And as far as having a better health, health issues. The other thing is your cholesterol.
Yes, cholesterol.
So that means the types of foods that you're eating, oils and things like that. Now, although this is April, and realistically, I shouldn't have had to do another physical until the end of this year. because we're with Kaiser and they're a little bit different. They'll be sending you messages. They want you to come in and do labs. I don't know, every few months or something.
But I wanted us to go. I like us to go. My sister said we go too much.
So I don't have a problem.
She always said we go too much. But I like to go to the doctor about every 4 months or so, just to put some numbers. We're getting older, and especially I'm so worried, and I'll just be transparent. Our black men, I don't even worry for myself the way I worry for Jeffrey. I have so many of my friends, they're black husbands, and my sister told me that for real, black people, our numbers are just different when it comes to cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, and it runs in our families. I just really always want to make sure he's good. It's not even that I'm going for myself. I like somebody to put some eyes on him every 4 months or so. My brother's like that too. He gonna go to the doctor and take care of himself. My father was like that. My dad went to the doctor very regularly. He lived till he was 78. We used to call him a hypochondriac because if he sneezed the wrong way, he was like, "Kim, make me a doctor's appointment." So, we're very thorough. So with your cholesterol, though, like Jeffrey was saying, watch those oils. That's what's causing that cholesterol, okay? That's what caused the fat in your blood, okay? Watch those oils, even though they say sunflower oil or olive oil. I'm not big on a lot of oil. That's why when you see me and Jeffrey cooking a lot, me and him be duking it out because he's like, oh, it's a little oil. He squirt, squirt, squirt. And I'm like, no, no, no. So, and I told y'all what happened when I did lose my 27 pounds, that my cholesterol actually went up. Because I was saying, well, give me a chicken breast and double vegetables. But they was cooking those double vegetables in oil. So another gem for you to walk away with is let them know, hey, don't be cooking my stuff in all that oil. Okay? You can tell them to cook it in no oil. I had one lady ask me one day, she was like, well, how are we going to cook it? Just steam it. It's broccoli. Okay? The next thing we have is prostate, which we kind of already talked about. But for our men folk out there, get your prostate checked. Either the old-fashioned way if your doctor will do it or the PSA in the blood work. We got to get our men to the doctor. Prostate is the easiest cancer, the simplest one of all of them if it's caught early. Okay, if it's caught early. My dad had prostate cancer. He lived another 15 years. That's not why we lost him, was prostate cancer. He was fully aware of it. His number went down to like a 0, like undetectable, like a 0.2 or something. His, started out a little higher. So in his case, just FYI, he had the radiation C. So there are many solutions to treatment when it comes to your prostate. The next thing is a colon exam, colonoscopy. When you get 50, you need to be having a colonoscopy. Okay, sometimes earlier, depending on, again, your health history, your family history. Okay, so in my case, I had one when I turned 50. Jeffrey had one when he turned 50, but because he lost his dad, you want to talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, so because I lost my dad to colon cancer, they want me to come in every 5 years. So after probably the next few months here, I'm going to schedule and plan to have another colonoscopy. Now, you can do the other thing. I guess you do like the smear thing or something, but I'm going to go and do it, have him put some eyes. So I'm going to do that.
Now, the way Jeff's talking about is the actual procedure. They put you to sleep. They run that tube up you. You can't eat for 3 days.
Yeah.
When he does the colonoscopy, the next time I think I'm going to do a cleanse with him, and we just do it together. I'm not going to get a colonoscopy because I don't need one for a few on you.
You're going to do what now?
I'm going to just do the cleanse with you where you
can't
eat.
I thought you said you was going to put it on camera. You don't want to see that.
No.
That's a bad day. That's a bad day. Okay.
You don't even know what happened, so don't be scared. You don't know what happened with the colonoscopy.
I'm not talking about that. I'm
what
talking
you talking
about the prep.
Not being able to eat. What was so bad about that?
No,
I mean, it's bad.
I'm not talking about
going to the bathroom.
Yes.
What? I'm not gonna record him in the bathroom.
I'm not saying you want to record. I'm just saying that's a lot.
I don't know. Y'all want to see that?
Absolutely not. That's a day. Well, anyway, you got that.
So the next thing, so usually you start getting colonoscopies at 50. Okay, if you have not had one and you 50, I want to hear about it. I want you going to that doctor. 50 is the recommended age, and they're kind of reducing that because so many young people now in their 30s and 20s are getting colon cancer. They figure the reason why so many younger people are getting it now is the food. Yep, processed food. When you read, that's why I was talking about, I got a video I'm about to put out in the next couple of days where I had some breakfast sausage for dinner. But the chemicals that are in these foods are killing us.
That to Kim's point,
carcinogens.
Carcinogens. So that means like your deli foods, like your bolognas, and all
your
of
sausage,
the processed food,
cheese, all
processed
that kind of
meat.
stuff. They just put chemicals in it,
Right.
nitrates.
And I love
It's
me some Jersey
destroying our
Mike's.
body. Yeah.
I love me some Jersey Mike's, but I ain't been there. I think last time I was there, it's been, ooh, I would go on a semi-regular basis a few years ago, but once with the situation with my dad, and then once they were really putting it out the last couple of years about the carcinogens and the deli meat, I'm like, oh, so I don't go that often.
And
Maybe once a year,
yeah.
and that's about it. So I do a Super Bowl thing, and I didn't get a chance to do that this Super Bowl because I was at somebody else's house, but that's another story.
And you can go to the the heart website, the main heart website, heart disease. I can't think of what it is. The heart people, the heart, the heart website. Go there, and it will tell you that certain things are like carcinogens. You might as well, and I'm not telling you to do this, but it's the equivalent of smoking cigarettes by eating deli meat and by eating things with nitrates and the chemicals. That's why so many young people are having colon cancer now. Watch the news. Everything is processed. And it's not like back in the day, our parents ate cold cuts and stuff, but it was just more natural. We're from Michigan, and there was a little area in Dearborn where what kind of like kosher Jews and stuff like that, their meat wasn't as processed. It was in a more natural state. But now everything you read it, and yes, even when I eat it, it affects my head, my body hurt.
Look at the chemicals, all that stuff.
Look at the chemicals, y'all. So next thing we got is the best breast exam. We already talked about that. Again, the recommendations change, so you want to make sure what's based on your family history, what you need. Because he told me every 2 years now. But again, I like somebody to touch my breast every year. Okay? Next thing is blood sugar. You want to be fasting. And you want to ask them about this even before you get there. Or if they don't tell you to fast, I'm telling you to fast. That means the night before you have your blood work and you're going for your annual visit, do not eat because it will throw off your blood sugar numbers. They need your rawest number. That means no eating, no drinking, no nothing. 12 hours before. So you got to fast. Okay? Ask them for a urine analysis so they can check your kidney function, especially if you're on a blood pressure pill, because that's what they worry about when you have high blood pressure, is your kidneys failing you in the future. So like when my sister needed a kidney transplant, I was not even a candidate if I wanted to be one because at that time my blood pressure was hot. I was glad I wasn't a candidate because I mean, not that I wouldn't want to help her out because I asked Jeff about it. We talked about it, but because you can live with one kidney, but because I already had high blood pressure, I was not even a candidate anyway. So she ended up getting a transfer, just in case y'all asked me. She did end up getting a kidney transplant. And she lived with that transplant for about 8 years, so that's not why she died. It was pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, the next thing here is
Pap smear.
Pap smear.
Yeah, that's another one that now they try to say, well, if you're a certain age, you don't even have to have them, or every couple years, every 4 years, or whatever. Let somebody take a look down there, ladies. Even if you're not sexually active, most people say, for those of you who do not know, a pap smear is when they take a tool and they go up inside the woman and they're looking around your uterus and making sure everything is okay. Even though you're not sexually active, because people who are not sexually active think they don't need to have that. People who've been with the same partner forever think, oh, I ain't got to have that. Not true. Not true. Your body could be playing tricks on you and doing all kinds of stuff. The only way for them to know is, now I'm having hot flashes. It's hot in here, y'all.
We do a lot of talking.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I need to finish this thought.
Okay.
So the only way to check what's going on down there, though, is going to be just a little fan Jeffrey got, y'all. He carries it everywhere. The only way to know what's going on down there is a pap smear. And you want them feeling. They may be able to find fibroids. Maybe you're bleeding a lot. Maybe you're not having a cycle. You should be having one. Let's get stuff checked out. Okay? So that's what a pap smear is. The next thing is get your vision checked. Okay? So when I was at the doctor today for my annual, he doesn't check vision, but he asked me, when is the last time I had it checked? And I told him, I am going to the vision doctor. These are things that we do every year. Every year. We go for an annual, we go for an eye visit, and we don't go for hearing. Now, let me finish the one really quick about the vision. So I told him I'm going to go to the eye doctor because I got this floater I've been telling y'all about. So they said it's just age. My mother-in-law was kind enough to share some information with me too. Google said the same thing. It's just like a jelly pops in your eye. And I've had floaters all my life, but they usually just go away. So having a floater wasn't nothing new to me. But when I had this particular one, it popped up last April. and I was somewhere, and I said, "Oh, let me clean my glasses." And I went to clean my glasses, and the spot was still on my eye. I said, "Wait a minute, that ain't my glasses. That's my eye." So anyway, I went to the doctor. They said it's just age related. They said I didn't have glaucoma. I didn't have any of that, but it still makes me nervous because it's like anything that's not normal, I'm checking it out. Okay, so we have eye visits. That's something I make sure we both do every year. Every year. We do eye and we do annual. And with the eye, they were able to tell that Jeffrey's blood pressure was elevated 1 year. So it's a lot of stuff that they can tell when you have an eye exam. I did a little video on this before when I had to go to the eye doctor. It's a lot of stuff that they can tell what's going on with your body. They can tell if you got diabetes. They can tell if you got high blood pressure. They can check for glaucoma. They can check for all kinds of stuff, you know. And so you need to go to the eye doctor too, at least annually. If you don't have insurance, again, check like Vision Works. Just get somebody to look at your eyes. Okay, it doesn't have to be a whole, you know, because it's different between the eye doctor, and then the one that does your vision, you know. But just get somebody to look at your eyes because they can look at it and tell something going on. Okay. And the last thing we had is get your hearing checked. Your hearing checked. Now, we've not been to an audiologist, neither of us. We went to ear, nose, and throat before for allergies. Both of us have been to ear, nose, and throat. But we've not actually had our hearing checked. So one day I told a doctor years ago, do you remember that? I asked Dr. B, and I said, yeah. I asked him, I said, Doc, I said, I haven't had my hearing checked because I'm very good about getting everything else checked. And he does like this to my ear. For those of you can't see me, he takes his finger and rubs it to the side of my ear like real faint. He's like, can you hear that? I was like, yeah. He said, you just had your hearing checked. So that's a good indication though. Are you having the TV up too loud, or are you like me and just like it loud?
Is that what it is?
Yes, I grew up in a loud house. Everything was loud. Everything. So my mother would have the TV on blast.
I say turn it up so you can hear it, because I'm like, my goodness. So
he'd walk in the room and he'd be like, can you hear it?
Can you hear it? Because if you cut it up a little bit, it's on 99. If you hit it up to 100, I'm sure you'll hear everything.
I just like it loud. I like surround sound before surround sound was a thing.
I'm sitting down here. I can hear every word of her TV show, but that's another story. But make sure you get that checked out, because especially if you're wearing headphones, especially the ones that go in your ear, you don't want to have that up too loud, because
I wonder who does that all day long.
I have it in my ear, but the little rubber cancels out the sound. But
no, I really don't like him doing that all day. No. And he wears those headphones all day. Your children probably will need to get their ears checked sooner than they used to back in the day. Because these kids and adults, everybody, y'all got these earbuds in 24/7. Yeah. And I try not to. If I can, and I'm on a business call or I'm talking to somebody, a lot of times I'll take my phone and put it on speaker. Hey, Jeffrey don't really like that, but I don't like that radiation in my head all day.
That's not radiation.
It is radiation. It is. They've proven that. They say you really shouldn't even sleep with your phone in the bed with you.
I ain't never heard
it's radiation, guys. So we're going to fight on that one too.
83.
Remember, I say tomato. Jeffrey says what? Tomato.
I said tomato. You say tomato.
So anyway, those are the tips we have for y'all based on our doctor's appointments today. Oh, one more, y'all. I got to tell y'all one more story. Y'all know I always got a story. Last thing, and we're going to get out of here, is when I went to pay. When I got there today, the lady told me, she said, you got a $163 bill. I said, oh, really? I said, what is that for? Because I had my feet, I went to have my feet examined one day because I had ingrown toenail. And then I had my eye, I told you about that eye cyst I had that removed. So I get there today, she said, you owe $163. I was like, what is it for? So she was like, you saw this doctor. I said, okay. So she told me what doctor. I said, I know they didn't charge me $163, and all that lady did was clip my toenail. Because she was able to dig out that little piece that I had. It was two ways she could have tried to help me that day. Cut the little piece that was ingrown, or have a full-blown procedure. I forgot the name of it. You can look it up on YouTube, but they slice a piece of your toenail, yank it out, and then it just grows back in regular. I had that done on my right foot.
$1,000 toe.
It was $1,000. But this time, Kaiser said it was going to be over $500. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So when the lady told me I owed the bill today, I was like, well, I ain't paying that. My sister said, call customer service. My sister she'll be playing, y'all. I'm gonna have her on here one day. She'll be playing. She said, call customer service. So when I called customer service, which I'm glad I did, I had another $50 bill I had just paid last month. When you have a high deductible plan and you don't have regular insurance like through your job, like these good companies like Kaiser or something like that, you're going to be paying a lot. So we do pay for every visit we go, we got to pay something. Not today for your annual, and that's why I'm really big on taking advantage of that. They rewrite your prescriptions and find out what's going on. But I had paid $50 for a televisit. And on my plan, televisits are free. You can see the doctor on Zoom or whatever for free, no charge. I didn't know why I was paying the $50. So after today, you best believe when I go to pay a bill, I'm gonna find out why I'm paying it. Okay? So I just paid the $50. I was like, it's only $50, whatever. So next thing I know, she tell me I owe 163 today. And again, with that 163, it wasn't for my foot. It was actually for the procedure that they removed the little cyst that I had in my eye. Now, I didn't mind paying for that because I knew I had a procedure. I thought it was going to cost something, but I didn't know what. So while the guy is telling me what the 163 is for, he said, well, that was a televisit. You shouldn't have been charged the $50. So he said he's going to put in a request for me to get that $50 refund back because I should not have been charged that. So that'll kind of help offset that 163 I had to pay today. So once again, you got to advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself. It does mean you might be on the phone sometimes. Shout out to my mother-in-law. Shout out to my sister, because we going to stay on the phone, y'all, if it take us all day to get $5 back. My neighbor used to tease me about that. But you got to advocate for yourself. And don't just pay bills without finding out why. Note to self today, that's the last time I'm going to do that. Last time. Because I was like, oh, it's $50. I didn't know why I owed it. I just figured I went to the doctor, I owe something. But I did not owe it because it was a televisit. So we ain't rich like that, but again, because it was a small amount, and that's how they get you. They figure you ain't paying attention. If you don't pay attention, you're going to be broke. Okay? So we're going to get ready to get out of here. We just wanted to really emphasize the need for you to go to the doctor, share this information with you. Hopefully it's going to save somebody's life out there. Take your spouse to the doctor. Y'all have it as a date, and then after that we went to lunch.
Yeah, because
we be so stressed out.
Yeah, the one last thing we would let you go for me.
Oh, tell me about checking your blood pressure twice too. How they run you in there so quick.
Yeah, so for me, everyone's different. Now, people are different depending on how your blood pressure runs. You're really supposed to go in there and sit down. At least my sister-in-law mentioned, you sit there and kind of be calm.
He said that under his breath. Give her a shout out.
So
give it to her. Shout out Kate Denise.
Yeah, Kate Denise. So
he said my sister-in-law, my sister-in-law, talk about that. What?
I don't understand. So we wanted to. She says, the thing is to go in and sit down and then take your blood pressure. And when I would go to this urgent care at the street, if I had to go, that's how she did it automatically. The doctor in there, she let me go in there and sit in the room. Then they take my blood pressure. But what they do, they bring you in, and what happened for me again today, and it happens every time I go. It doesn't matter which doctor office. So we had to drive an hour to the place. I'm drinking a bunch of water. I'm holding it because I know I'm going to have to. I'm preparing to do a urine test. She called. I'm sitting out there. When you got to go to the bathroom. I'm holding it. So she calls me back. She's about to do the blood. I says, well, I asked her, are you going to do a urine test? And she said, no. I said, well, do you have to use the restroom? I said, yes, because I've been holding it. So I run to the bathroom, come back, then you take the blood pressure. Then it's high. So then later on, they check it, it's a little bit better. Now, I need to work on my blood pressure. That's going to work with some weight and some medication things. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we'll come back on that
But we'll get to that. But for me, the reason why Kim was saying we had to go to the doctor, go get something to eat afterwards. One, for me, I have small veins. So they always got to dig in this arm or that arm, digging all up in there. And eventually, sometimes, more times than not now, they just stick me in the hand, which is the worst for me. Because
you got to get the baby needle,
y'all. You got to get the baby needle. So today, I told her, I said, look, this is a new place. I'm a hard stick. That's what they call it. She says, well, how do you, where do you, what happens? I said, eventually they just wind up going to the hand. She said, we're just going to go right there. So once they stick me in the hand, so after that, we had to get something to eat. I had to go get me a hamburger because my nerves are shot. So anyway, you got an ice cream cone. But yeah, so.
I ain't tell him to tell y'all my business.
So anywho, but the point of it is. I
did not tell him to tell that. I said, you talking about you.
Being in the doctor's office can be stressful, especially if you got to sit there in between. You're in the waiting room. You get to the room, you got to wait for the doctor. Then the doctor says, we're going to have somebody come and do something. And you wait 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. for that person to come in, then you got to leave out. So yeah,
they think he got a little bit of white coat syndrome.
No, I know I do. I know I do. I know
he
I
got
do.
white coat
I know
syndrome.
I do. Because I'm
For
like,
those
I'm thinking
of you who
about
don't know what white coat syndrome is, that's when you get nervous as soon as you see a white coat.
I'm trying to be cool, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
anyway, that's another story.
So we're gonna get out of here, guys. Again, this was a little bit longer, but we had to share all these tips with you guys. So get to the doctor, take your loved one to the doctor, tell your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, husbands, boyfriends, everybody. Get to the doctor, okay? Now you got to take all that medication if you don't want to. Maybe I don't know. I ain't no doctor, but they did increase one of his medications. Oh, that was my other last tip, last gem, y'all. When you go to the doctor, especially if you see multiple doctors, make sure why you're taking medication that you're taking. Do you still need that medication? A lot of times you went to see the ear doctor, he wrote you something, the eye doctor wrote you something, and everybody else wrote you something. And you got all these different prescriptions, and you just end up with a bucket. And you don't even know why you're taking them. Do you still even need them?
The truth of the matter is, folks, is that as the saying, food be thy medicine. Be thy medicine. So if you eat the right foods, which is what we have been kind of 50-50. I'm gonna get back into it a lot stronger so I can try to get my the other side of the weight that I'm talking about, try to get to lose that weight. Because the food is what you eat. If you're doing vegetables and fruit,
yeah,
your chances of not having all this stuff is a lot better.
And they didn't offer Jeffrey not one solution naturally.
They didn't say,
today.
I had one doctor probably
today. He didn't say nothing about go walk, lose some weight, what you doing. He just increased his medication.
Because that's how they're trained. That's how they're trained.
Again, I'm like, how long you gonna let them keep doing this, bro?
Yeah.
Talking to Jeffrey. Now I'm talking to him.
Well,
how long you gonna let them just keep writing stuff for you?
Well, I can't tell him not to write it. What I'm gonna say, don't write that prescription.
Yeah, but that means we gotta do something on the back end. You can't just keep taking all these prescriptions. They're gonna keep pills equal money. If you notice, every commercial on TV is take this, but it's gonna cost 15 different things. Take this if you think you got a belching problem. Take this if your eyes are dry. Take this if you can't hear. Take this to lose weight. Take this to gain weight. Take this for every single thing. Eczema. I mean, you name it. Every other commercial is medical. Every other commercial is about some kind of medication with all the side effects. So you have to start being your own advocate and get off of some of this medication.
So I'm going to let the fruits and the vegetables and all that be my main medicine.
Yes, so this is your medication. Look, let this be your medication. Tangerines, bananas, okay? Somebody asked to see the table we did the other day. Let me show y'all really quick. Because somebody asked to see the table. Maybe he'll come back and see it. Because this was a long video. But I think I showed y'all the finished product. But I'm going to show y'all really quick. Hold on. That's the finished product, okay? Isn't that beautiful? And then we painted, that's a rocker over there. And we painted this table and chairs. And all the accessories came from Amazon. The umbrella, the 4 yellow pillows was in the box for $30. That long pillow over there was $40. So I did pretty good on that. Yep. So that's the finished product. So we're going to get out of here, y'all, because I know we done talked y'all heads off today. But I just thought it was important to share our doctor's visit with you because I really want to help people. So that's why we do what we do. We share what's going on in our lives, okay? I'm going to let Jeffrey say bye. And we're going to get out of here.
So we'll see you guys on the next go around. Take care of your health and take care of yourselves, okay?
Take care of your health and your family. Okay, bye, guys. And your friends, too. Tell a friend, honey. Tell a friend. Girlfriend, did you get that done? Did you get your breast checked? Did you get your pap smear? Because I got a lot of my friends, they ain't doing what they supposed to do either. But I be trying to stay on top of them. And don't be scared, y'all. That's why I say advocate for yourself. You ain't got to be scared to go to the doctor. But you let them know what you going to let them do to you. Not the other way around. That's your body. Okay? Bye.
Bye.